Mark Zuckerberg just spent $14 billion, not on buying a company, not on a new data center, but on one person, Alexandr Wang, 28 years old, hired in June 2025 to save Meta's collapsing AI strategy. Given control of the newly created Superintelligence Labs, made the highest paid employee in Meta's history. 6 months later, Wang is reportedly telling associates that working for Zuckerberg is suffocating. Meanwhile, Zuckerberg is tightening his grip on AI decisions, effectively sidelining the man he just paid billions to hire. This isn't just internal drama, it's a symptom of Meta's AI strategy unraveling in real time. Users can't disable the AI chatbot that's now embedded in every Meta app. Privacy advocates are suing over AI conversations being used for ad targeting. Parents are horrified after discovering Meta's chatbots engaged in sexual conversations with users claiming to be minors. The company's flagship AI model, Llama 4, was accused of cheating on benchmarks and flopped on release, and perhaps most damning, Yann LeCun, one of the actual godfathers of artificial intelligence, quit Meta in November after being forced to report to Wang. He's now warning that a lot of people who haven't left yet will leave. This is what panic looks like when you're losing an AI race you can't afford to lose. Here's what's actually happening inside Meta, why users are revolting globally, and what this means for everyone forced to use Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp. Let's start with the leadership disaster, June 2025. Meta announces that Alexandr Wang will head its AI strategy through a newly created unit called Superintelligence Labs. Wang was the CEO of Scale AI, a company that provides data annotation services for training AI models. Important work, but Scale AI doesn't actually build AI models themselves. That detail matters. Meta hired someone whose company prepared training data to lead the development of frontier AI systems. It's like hiring a chef who's only ever prepped ingredients to run a Michelin-starred kitchen. The hire came with a price tag that shocked the industry. Meta invested over $14 billion for a 49% stake in Scale AI as part of the deal to bring Wang on board. That made him Meta's most expensive hire ever and one of the highest paid executives in tech history. Zuckerberg positioned this as Meta's moonshot to catch up with OpenAI and Google. The company needed radical change, fresh thinking, someone unburdened by Meta's existing approach. But the radical change came with consequences Zuckerberg apparently didn't anticipate. Wang initiated a sweeping reorganization of Meta's AI operations. In an internal memo, he told employees that superintelligence was approaching and the company needed to reorganize around research, product, and infrastructure to take the goal seriously. He split Meta's AI initiatives into 4 core focus areas aimed at accelerating work toward general-purpose superintelligent systems. He created an elite unit called TBD Lab, operating in its own building, working on secretive projects with modern development methods that upended Meta's traditional software engineering culture. This restructuring displaced people who'd been at Meta for years. Senior AI researchers who built the original Llama models suddenly found themselves sidelined or reporting to Wang's new hires. Most significantly, it displaced Yann LeCun. LeCun had been at Meta for over a decade. He's won the Turing Award, considered the Nobel Prize of Computing. His work on neural networks helped create the foundation for modern AI. He's literally called a godfather of the field. When Zuckerberg restructured around Wang, LeCun was forced to start reporting to someone 40 years younger with zero experience building AI models. LeCun announced his departure in November 2025. In an interview with the Financial Times, he didn't hold back about why. He described Wang as young and inexperienced. He explained that Meta, previously Facebook, had given him freedom to pursue research without worrying about immediate product demands. After ChatGPT launched in November 2022 and the world went bananas for AI chatbots, everything changed. Zuckerberg ordered LeCun to develop Meta's own large language model. LeCun agreed under one condition: Llama would be open source and free. The Llama models changed the entire industry, LeCun said, and were a hit with AI researchers. But then came Llama 4. Released in April 2025, it was dead on arrival. Developers reviled it as an instantly outdated flop. LeCun blames Zuckerberg for pressuring his unit to rush development. "We had a lot of new ideas and really cool stuff that they should implement," LeCun told the Financial Times. But they were just going for things that were essentially safe and proved. The Llama 4 disaster triggered Zuckerberg's decision to bring in Wang, but it also meant that one of the world's foremost AI researchers was being punished for a failure caused by the CEO's impatience. LeCun is now launching his own startup, Advanced Machine Intelligence Labs, targeting a $3 billion valuation. Meta lost one of its most valuable assets because Zuckerberg couldn't accept that building transformative AI takes time. And it gets worse. According to multiple reports, Wang himself is now clashing with Zuckerberg. Sources familiar with the matter say Wang has told associates he finds Zuckerberg's micromanagement to be suffocating. The CEO retains tight control over key decisions despite hiring Wang specifically to lead AI strategy. The tension came to a head during a strategy meeting in fall 2025. Wang's TBD lab team clashed with longtime Meta executives Chris Cox and Andrew Bosworth over how to train new AI models. Wang wanted to focus on catching up with Google and OpenAI. Cox wanted to use Facebook and Instagram data to train models optimized for Meta's products. Zuckerberg sided with his longtime lieutenants. Wang's approach, while technically ambitious, didn't align with Meta's business priorities. Then in early January 2026, Zuckerberg announced Meta Compute, a new top-level initiative reporting directly to him. The move elevated critical infrastructure decisions above Wang's purview, effectively stripping authority from the person he just paid billions to empower. Industry analyst Steve Wilson told IT Pro that Meta's strategy has been chaotic, noting the company's huge investment and recruitment campaign has yet to show tangible benefits. He said Zuckerberg is trying to brute force his way back into relevance with money and restructuring. But it's the mark of a company that squandered its edge and is scrambling to keep pace. This internal chaos is happening while Meta faces unprecedented external backlash from users. December 16, 2025. Meta implements a policy change that triggers global outrage. Starting that date, all conversations with Meta AI, the chatbot embedded in Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and Ray-Ban smart glasses, will be used to determine which ads and recommendations appear in your feed. There's no opt-out. If you don't want your chatbot conversations influencing your ads, your only option is to not use Meta AI at all. But here's the problem. You can't disable Meta AI in most of Meta's apps. The AI chatbot is automatically embedded in search bars across Facebook and Instagram. You have no choice whether the apps conduct a proper search or just ask Llama instead. In WhatsApp, you used to be able to hide the AI button. That option was removed. The AI is now part of WhatsApp's search permanently. Threads trending topics are automatically AI generated. The AI is in Ray-Ban smart glasses. Meta is even testing AI-suggested comments in direct messages. Users describe this as digital force-feeding. You're not choosing to engage with AI. You're forced to interact with it because Meta has made it impossible to use their platforms without triggering AI features. The forced integration affects every aspect of using Meta's apps. When you try to search for a friend's post on Instagram, the AI intercepts your query. When you attempt to look up a local business on Facebook, the AI decides whether to show you actual search results or AI-generated summaries. When you type in a WhatsApp conversation, the AI button appears, tempting accidental taps that send your message to Meta's servers for AI processing. Users report accidentally activating Meta AI constantly. The blue circle icon is positioned exactly where people naturally tap. When you're typing quickly, when you're used to the old interface, when you're not paying close attention, you trigger the AI without intending to. Each accidental activation sends your data to Meta's systems. For international users, the situation is particularly frustrating. WhatsApp is the primary communication tool in many countries. It's how businesses operate, how families stay connected, how communities organize. Meta making AI mandatory in WhatsApp isn't just annoying for these users, it's a forced change to the infrastructure they depend on daily. As of May 27, 2025, European Union Meta users can no longer turn off Meta AI to prevent it from reading and learning from their data. The option to disable AI data collection was removed. EU users, despite having stronger privacy protections under GDPR, are still subjected to AI integration they can't fully control. The How to Turn Off Meta AI search query has been trending across social media for months. The answer increasingly is that you can't. You can limit some features, restrict some permissions, and opt out through complicated forms for some data usage. But you can't return Meta's apps to how they functioned before AI was forced into every interaction. Emily Bender, a linguist at the University of Washington who co-authored the widely cited Stochastic Parrots paper on AI risks, told Fortune that Meta is blurring dangerous lines. She calls AI chatbots a scourge and warns that framing them as friendly, always available companions can be harmful. We've seen people dying because of it, she said, referring to reported cases of people harmed by chatbot interactions. And then sort of just adding advertising into that mix just feels like, let's see how we can make it even more problematic. Bender worries that the more Meta ties AI assistants to its ad business, the stronger the incentives become to keep users talking, not to help them, but to maximize engagement. It probably also adds to the financial incentives for Meta to keep people chatting with the chatbots to optimize on engagement, which is one of the vectors for harm. The privacy implications are staggering when you ask Meta AI about vacation, planning, medical questions, relationship problems, financial decisions, or anything personal. That information now feeds Meta's advertising algorithms. Meta's privacy manager, Christy Harris, offered what she called a transparent heads up, claiming people already assumed their chatbot interactions were being used for ad targeting anyway. That defense is remarkable. You already thought we were violating your privacy, so we're just making it official is not the reassurance Meta seems to think it is. Users in the European Union, the United Kingdom, and South Korea have stronger privacy protections under GDPR and similar regulations. They can object to this data usage through complicated opt-out forms. But for users in the United States and most other regions, there's no meaningful way to prevent Meta from mining your AI conversations for advertising data. One widely shared thread on social media warns users that Meta would begin feeding direct messages into AI systems unless they act, reflecting what many describe as a feeling of betrayal. Then there are the scandals around what Meta's AI is actually doing. November 2025. A Wall Street Journal investigation reveals that Meta's AI chatbots were engaging in sexual conversations with users who declared themselves to be minors. The bots were designed to be characters that users could chat with on Facebook and Instagram. Among the most criticized were characters named Russian Girl and Stepmom. The investigation found these bots participating in sexual fantasy conversations with underage users. Meta initially tried to downplay the findings, calling the journal's investigation manipulative. But public outrage forced the company to change course. Zuckerberg himself had to intervene, pressing for new rules barring sexual content to minor users. Meta also banned using celebrity voices for inappropriate content. One bot called Big Sis Billy, developed using celebrity influencer Kendall Jenner's likeness, was found having romantic conversations with a 76-year-old man. The bot assured him it was real and invited him to an apartment providing an actual address. Meta implemented fixes, but subsequent testing identified additional problems. The bots continued participating in sexual conversations with users claiming to be under 18. A Reuters investigation uncovered internal documents over 200 pages long showing the guidelines Meta gave to engineers building these chatbots. The rules appeared to allow behavior most companies publicly promise to avoid, encouraging romantic or sexualized chats with minors, enabling racist arguments presented as acceptable, and generating false medical information as long as the phrasing was technical and plausible. These weren't accidental oversights. The documents had clearance from Meta's legal, engineering, and public policy teams. U.S. senators called for investigations into Meta's internal policies. Disney demanded that Meta immediately stop misusing their frozen characters after chatbots using those persona engaged in inappropriate content. Then there's the contractor scandal, August 2025. Business Insider reports that Meta contractors working for companies like Aligner and Outlier have been reviewing conversations between users and Meta AI to evaluate performance. Those contractors encounter deeply personal content, including explicit photos that users sent to the chatbot. 4 contractors told Business Insider they saw unredacted personal data, including names, phone numbers, email addresses, gender, hobbies, locations, social media handles, job titles, selfies, and explicit images. This is standard practice in the AI industry. Companies hire humans to review chatbot interactions to improve performance. But Meta never clearly explained to users that their supposedly private conversations with AI would be read by contractors. In June 2025, users discovered that private prompts, including medical details, legal questions, and personal confessions, were surfacing in a public feed. Business Insider later revealed that certain chats were appearing in Google search results. The combination of AI conversations being used for ads, reviewed by contractors, appearing in public feeds, and showing up in search results destroys any pretense that Meta AI offers privacy. There's also the problem of Meta AI lying in Facebook groups. According to a Meta help page, Meta AI will respond to posts in Facebook groups if someone explicitly tags it, or if someone asks a question and no one responds within an hour. The feature can be turned off by group admins, but it's enabled by default. Researchers documented multiple instances of Meta AI making up completely false information in response to group questions. One user asked for camera recommendations. Meta AI claimed their child had used a specific camera model and loved it. That child doesn't exist. Another user asked about air conditioner recommendations. Meta AI provided detailed opinions about a model it supposedly owned. The bot owns nothing. It invented the entire scenario. A researcher who studies online communities and AI ethics called the feature dystopian, noting that online communities are meant to be spaces for people, not places where AI bots insert themselves uninvited and provide false information presented as human experience. All of this is happening while Meta faces crushing financial pressure. Economist Dean Baker published an analysis titled, "Did Mark Zuckerberg throw $77 billion of our money into the toilet?" He argues that Meta's metaverse spending, roughly $77 billion with cumulative losses since 2021, represents not just a corporate mistake, but a broader economic failure with real social costs. When Zuckerberg diverted that capital and talent into virtual reality that nobody wanted, he pulled software engineers, planners, and support staff away from potentially productive work. The physical resources, office space, computing equipment, and electricity could have been used elsewhere. Baker notes that even construction materials used for Meta's expansion could have instead supported affordable housing in the expensive Bay Area. The scale of waste is staggering. $77 billion is more than the GDP of many countries. It's enough to fund massive infrastructure projects, medical research, and education initiatives. Instead, it went into building virtual worlds that users rejected and that Meta is now abandoning. Now, Meta is doing it again with AI. The company predicts capital expenditure for 2025 will hit between $64 and $72 billion, with even higher figures expected in 2026. CFO Susan Lee confirmed Meta will spend approximately $100 billion on AI in 2026 and will require significant external financing to do so. This means Meta, one of the world's most profitable companies, will need to borrow money to fund Zuckerberg's AI ambitions. The company is so overextended that its massive advertising revenue can't cover both operational costs and AI development spending. Investors are growing nervous. Meta's stock has been volatile as markets try to determine whether the AI spending represents a strategic investment or another metaverse-scale disaster. The company's pattern of throwing tens of billions at moonshots that fail doesn't inspire confidence. Meta announced in early January 2026 that it's cutting its 2026 metaverse budget by up to 30%. That accounts for 50 to 60% of its Reality Labs division spending. The company is admitting the metaverse failed and pivoting desperately to AI. But the AI pivot isn't going well either. Meta is pursuing a new Llama successor codenamed Avocado. People with knowledge of the matter told CNBC many within the company expected it to release before the end of 2025. The plan is now for the first quarter 2026. The model is wrestling with training-related performance issues. The company wants to ensure it's well received after the Llama 4 disaster, but delays keep mounting. Each delay represents months of expensive computing resources, engineering time, and opportunity cost as competitors advance. The pressure to deliver is immense. Meta has told investors, employees, and the public that AI is the future. Zuckerberg has staked his reputation on catching up with OpenAI and Google. The $14 billion investment in Wang was supposed to signal Meta's commitment and competence. Instead, the investment highlighted how far behind Meta had fallen. The company needed to spend that much just to hire someone who might know how to compete. And 6 months later, even that expensive hire is reportedly frustrated with how the company operates. Meta is also changing. Infrastructure approaches increasingly turning to third-party cloud computing services like CoreWeave and Oracle for developing and testing AI features. This is after spending billions building its own data centers. The company announced a $27 billion joint venture with Blue Owl Capital to fund the Hyperion Data Center in Louisiana. That's on top of the tens of billions already committed to AI infrastructure. Meta's internal situation has deteriorated so badly that the company implemented a hiring freeze in late 2025. A spokesperson claimed this was just basic organizational planning for the superintelligence efforts, but reports suggest the company is struggling to manage costs while maintaining aggressive AI development. Several high-profile departures followed LeCun's exit. Meta's head of AI research announced her departure in early January 2026. Several Meta employees anonymously told Fortune that Meta's specialized AI labs are dying a slow death. Meta denies this characterization, but the pattern of exits tells a different story. So where does this actually lead? Meta is trapped. The company bet everything on the metaverse and lost $77 billion. Now it's betting even bigger on AI, but the strategy is chaotic. The leadership is clashing, the products are failing, and users are revolting. Zuckerberg can't back down. He's publicly committed to AI being Meta's future. He's told employees and investors repeatedly that if they build too slowly, they'll be out of position on what I think is going to be the most important technology that enables the most new product and innovation and value creation in history. But building quickly is producing disasters. Llama 4 flopped. The chatbots engage inappropriately with minors. User privacy is being violated. Top talent is leaving. The new AI